Hey guys, welcome back to yet another Taking Back Your Life 2017 Business Takeover. For those who are new to the Taking Back Your Life platform, what we do each year is we host a shouts out to Google, even though it's on YouTube now. But we host this kind of 1 hour quasi platform which allows us to talk to industry experts depending on the topic. Now, last year we talked about health and wellness, so we had many people around the United States and even abroad come on to give you health and wellness tips. This year, our topic obviously is business. So I've invited several people that I know personally that are really experts in business. In one way, shape, or form. Some of them specialize or have a niche in something specific, but they're entrepreneurs who are out there in the field. This is unlike, for you guys who know, I do a radio show, and it's a little different than the interviews I do there. We try to make this very much more organic and specific so that this becomes more of a teachable moment. So my guest today is... Where's my guest? Where's Friday? How was that? There we go. All right, here we go. I got a little off. You know, I'm radio. Video scares me. So this week, my guest is a branding specialist, social media consultant, and national speaker. Please welcome Miss Jamelah Anderson to the house. What up, Jay? And no, I usually have my little clap thing going on. I feel lost. How are you?
Okay. It's Monday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So you doing okay today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're always like on 10, first of all. What's that about?
10 might be the lowest scale. I think 10 is like the minimum.
Okay.
The new minimum.
Wow. So I need that in my life. Okay. So let's start like I always do. For those who don't know you, Mrs. Anderson, tell us who Jamelah Anderson was prior to being an entrepreneur and or business expert.
Well, prior to being an entrepreneur, I was a mom, single mother, on public assistance. I started having babies when I was a teenager and had my first child at 17. So things were quite rough as a teenage parent, and not having the support of the other parent involved kind of just put me in a position to bootstrap and to do what I needed to do to make a way for my children. So I was a teen mom. I was on public assistance. I had finally found a job. I went to college and finally found a job after graduating from college. And it's so funny because the job had nothing to do with anything that I really wanted to
really do.
And right, like my degree could have just been in general studies for all it was worth. But the job that I was working at, I was making probably about $12 an hour, and really not in a position to support my family at the highest level. But just knowing that dream and a big vision, and I wanted to do something with all the talent that I did have, and seeing entrepreneurship as that gateway. So me prior to entrepreneurship.
Well, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, because so many people have these excuses and they see people like yourself and obviously the light that you're in now, and they feel like, man, you got it made, you got all the breaks. Of course you're successful, right? And of course you know what you're doing, but look at me. I'm a single mom. I really don't have time to start my own business, yada, yada, yada. And we're going to debunk a lot of that today.
Let's do it. Let's do
it. All right.
I'm debunking the lies and the myths that we
So I've got a lot of questions. I'm going to get a lot in, hopefully. Let's start with social media because We haven't had an opportunity to really delve into that in any of the other guests that I've had on, and I know you specialize in that, at least one of the things. Has social media, or let me pose it this way, how has social media changed the entrepreneurial game?
Okay. Well, before I answer that, let me say that I am a lifelong business coach, life coach. That is who I am. It's in my DNA. It's what I do every day. My specialty in business is branding and social media. And I feel like I have a secret love affair with social media that may be a little unnatural and unhealthy, but nevertheless, it's what keeps my juices in business flowing. And I love it because it's social media has completely debunked the constraints that business owners have had in reaching their target audience. Social media has made it possible for anyone who is in possession of their own gifts and their own talents from an independent perspective, to just reach their audience directly, to just go out and say, hey, I see you're struggling in this area. Let me target and speak directly to the people that need my services and need my help, and to get to them quicker, sooner, faster without the red tape. So that's the biggest benefit that social media has provided for the entrepreneur. And it's one that, when done well, can really serve to make you successful in digital business.
Oh, you're giving me a lot, and I'm typing in. If you see me typing, it's simply because I've got a question that, and I don't want to lose it.
Okay.
So knowing that, okay, hearing that, and that was a great intro to where I want to go.
Mhm.
Here's what we get. We get a lot of people, especially Generation X and older, who will see social media as a toy instead of an actual instrument for profit, okay, or that will help them in their business specifically. So because of that, they tend to not take it serious, and they'll hear you say exactly what you said, well, whatever. I really don't want to get on social media. Facebook is just this, and Twitter is this, and something is overcomplicated. So my question is, who really needs to be on social media for their businesses? If I have a brick and mortar, does that mean I should be on there? If I have a product or service that I sell online, am I more prone to want to be on there? Who is it really that needs to take a look at themselves and say, I've got to learn this one way or another?
Well, I think that's a really great question. And actually, a little bit about speaking to a youth group maybe about 2 weeks ago. I am not one of the social media specialists who will tell you that social media is for all businesses and all entrepreneurs. I firmly believe that using social media as a tool should be directed for those entrepreneurs who have an audience who uses social media. So, for example, if I'm renovating and making a new senior citizen home, and I'd like to build a $32 million facility, and I want to make it on a grand scale, and I want to employ all of the possible tools that I can use for marketing to get the word out. There is an 80% likelihood that I will not make social media one of the major tools in marketing, because I would recognize that my audience, if they're 63 through 80 or 90, that they would not be the major proponents of a social media core audience. If I did want to use social media, in spite of knowing that this is not their major area, I would look specifically for those outlets that speak to that older generation. So, social media is, in essence, for businesses that actually have an audience that uses social media to find their products and services. We all know that just being a beautiful Black woman and being a queen, we are very, very meticulous about our hair.
Mhm.
So, very important for us to find the right hairdresser. Most of us are not on social media looking for another hairdresser. most of those services with hair, because it is such an intimate and personal experience, are done via word of mouth. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a presence on social media if you were a cosmetologist or someone providing esthetician services, but just recognizing how your audience will find you is the essential component in figuring out if social media is a good tool for you to use.
So it leads me to content. One of the things that scares people, even if they buy into that and they say, you know what, I am going to at least attempt or have a presence, soon after they realize or they feel like I just can't keep up. I don't have enough content.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think part of that is because they think content has to be this broad base, I've got to say this wonderful quote. I've got to be really smart. I've got to be on video, and content doesn't always look the same, right? So talk about content and how that can vary and how just what I believe, and you can back this up or say I'm full of it, which is possible. I believe that we create content just by being, right? I mean, like, I see stuff all the time on YouTube specifically where people are just vlogging about their life and it's content and people are like glued to it like it's the best thing since sliced bread. So you tell me your thoughts about content.
Well, I think that content, just having that as a whole seminar by itself would be
Right.
effective and powerful and amazing,
Right.
because it is such an intricate topic, um, with a lot of moving pieces. So when it comes to part-time businesses and part-time business owners, I think that the topic of content seems seems less official and less formal. Doing things like, blogging when you feel like it, and kind of posting the things that are on your mind. They give people a personal glimpse into your life and let people see who you are, which in essence is branding. The idea of authenticity, the idea of just being self. So that in and of itself is just one component. The for the part-time business owners. When it comes to business owners who are operating from a full-time capacity, I come from the train of thought with content that planned content is better than emotional content. We've
Mm.
seen the posts online that are triggered by some emotion, right? We've all seen the
Mm-hmm.
posts, we've all seen the expressive posts that, kind of go on a tangent about something that is bothering that particular entrepreneur in particular. And writing when you feel like it, even as a writer, I consider myself a writer first and a speaker second. But as a writer, I know that if I just wrote when I felt like it, I probably wouldn't have a lot to show from my writing. But part of being successful is by doing something every day. That's a major component. You have to do it every day. And doing it with a plan takes you a lot further than the person who's just writing when they feel like it. So when it comes to full-time business owners, I come from the content thought of planning out your content in advance and really leading with your brand message. What is it that you want the people that you're speaking to know? What do they need to know about you? What do they need to feel from you? How will they connect with you? What do they care about that matters most to them? How can you serve them? How can you help them? So when it comes to content in a part-time perspective, I would say lead with emotions and write when you feel like it. From a full-time perspective with content, planning beats emotion every single time.
What's your top three social media platforms just for you? I'm just curious, what do you think in terms of value?
Yeah. So my top three, definitely Facebook. Facebook is my baby and my first love. I also am a big fan of Instagram. Instagram has been, I call Facebook the platform for readers, and Instagram is the platform for picture lovers. The magazine lovers are on Instagram, and the book lovers are on Facebook. That's how I quantify it. But at this particular point, I think I'm emerging and re-engaging with Twitter and finding a lot of value in Twitter now. When it first came out, it was this big boom and this big bubble, and everyone loved Twitter. But then it kind of died off. And what happened, most people don't know that the over 40 age bracket kind of took over Twitter. And most people don't even know that. But it became very popular for those over 40, and people thought that it died out, but it became popular at the younger end and at the 40 and up end. But what we're seeing right now with Twitter is a reemergence through other platforms, using another platform like Periscope. They've been able to revamp and hone in again on increasing their audience. So Twitter is one of the small but surely and going to be here for a long time outlets that I really appreciate and I really do love. So those would be my top 30.
Cool. All right. And I actually love those three as well. And everyone's telling me the fourth emerging is Snapchat.
Yes.
And
I love Snapchat.
so I'm on it, but I just haven't figured it out yet. I'm getting there. I said that's good.
The thing about Snapchat is that and again, I believe that if your audience is not there as a business owner, keep your ear to the ground, but don't feel like you're behind the times or that you need to add on something else just to keep up. Recognize that if there is a shift with your audience, if your target market is like, you know what, forget all the other three platforms, we're going to Snapchat and that's it, then I would absolutely say increase your presence on Snapchat. But
Right.
for me, when I decided to open a Snapchat account and start using it, I realized that the core purpose of Snapchat it was Facebook's original purpose, to stay in touch with family and friends. Okay. We all have, at least 100 friends under our belt that we actually may care about and are interested in seeing, but may not be interested in keeping in touch with on a regular basis.
Right.
And chat just provides those instant video feeds so you can get an idea of what's going on with your friends and family without the attachment of Facebook with commenting and liking and sharing and without that direct engagement. So I say go Snapchat. Snapchat be great. However, if it's not a platform where your target market is, then just let it go ahead and be great. Let it go on now. Let it go on.
Sage advice. So I want to go back now and I want to delve into each one of those three. So let's take Facebook. You said it's more of a writing tool where people will take the time out to read a couple paragraph or sentence, things like that. If you were coaching a newbie in the business, a new entrepreneur, and they were on Facebook but weren't properly using it, just kind of using it like you said, the original meaning, which was just keeping up with family and friends. But now you're teaching them how to target a specific market and make a presence, build a brand. How would you go about? Because I think, and I could be wrong, but I think all three of those platforms are used differently, right? Is that safe to say?
Yes,
So how would I use Facebook strategically as a business owner?
that's a really great question. So the first thing that I would say that you would need to do is interview the people who you actually want to speak with. Interview the type of candidate or the type of person who would be your target, who would be the person that you would want to market to. And with the interview, you're looking to figure out what it is that they need or they would want to see on a regular basis. So, for example, my core audience, I, work hard every single day for a group of amazing queens on Facebook. These are women who want life encouragement, but also want to know how to start businesses as well. So the inspiration motivation factor is huge in my particular group. And for my market, I quiz them all the time. What are your struggles right now? What obstacles are coming up for you in your life? What do you need motivation and encouragement around? I get into what it is that they need the most so I can know how to serve them. So with Facebook, it would be the same thing with Facebook. It would be the same thing with Instagram. The only difference is that there's a visual component with Instagram versus on Facebook. So maybe if I'm encouraging someone to stay close to their children, Then on Facebook, I would really go in, I'm a storyteller. So I would go into a story about my own personal experience with my daughter. I always talk about my 15-year-old because she just happens to be, you know, the apple of the eye right now. And all you parents out there, don't judge because everyone has a favorite, so don't do it. All that. But I go into stories about her and the experiences that her and I have had together. And I conclude with, you know, parents or moms, it's so important to stay close to your child. And this is one of the reasons why. Um, on Instagram, I would use a shorter narrative, but I would use a photo of my daughter and I to illustrate what it was that I was looking to communicate. So with Facebook, understanding the message and what your audience needs helps you to be able to deliver every single time. If my audience was looking for inspiration, but I'm providing tips on how to do accounting in the tax season, then it's going to be a really easy way for me to lose and for the people who I want to reach to just slip out of my grasp. So it's very important to think about their needs first. And I would go on the interviewing session to even just figure out who they are. Sometimes we have an audience, but connect them. Like, why are all of you guys following me? Why are all of you all liking my post? What do you have in common that I can research? So, you know, once upon a time when I first started my group, which is the Queen's Mastermind Society on Facebook, I thought that I was speaking to moms. So I actually named the group something like Mogul Mompreneurs, only to find out that maybe less than half of the women that I was speaking to were actually mothers. A lot of them did not, right, less than half. So I had to dive into the science behind my following and figure out, well, who are you? What connects you? Is it a racial thing? Is it a religious thing? Is it a cultural thing? Is it regional? Do all of you live in Atlanta? So getting into the nitty gritty, getting into the details of your audience will always serve you in figuring out how best to speak to them, not just on Facebook, but on any platform.
So with that in mind, what would you use, or how would you go about doing those interviews? Would you use something like what's it, Survey Monkey or something like that?
So with I think that's a really great question too. So with me, I can tell you what I did. What I would suggest is using either Survey Monkey, or Google has a great tool to do fillables, where you can just create the questions for your survey and put the link up on your page and say, hey guys, you know, it's a survey, it's only 3 questions long or 5 questions long. Just make it something simple. The more simple they feel like it is, the easier it'll be for them to accept that type of invitation, because we know that people have really busy lives on a day-to-day
Right.
So make it nice, short, sweet, and simple. You know, hey guys, I'm doing a survey. And I like to give my audience stuff. So I offer them free consultations for filling out my survey. I offer percentages off of my programs. I just do things that I feel like would serve them at the highest level. And what I did with my past survey was I actually just reached out to the women who had been to my event. And I said, you know, hey, I really appreciate you coming out to this event. As a result, I would love to sit down and just talk to you for 5 minutes about what you like about my program, and just to get to know more of you. And people love talking about themselves. Let's just be real.
They do.
I'm here right now because I just, you know, come on now. So yeah, I would absolutely make it short and sweet and use something simple. Don't use anything complicated. You don't need to go register with Entreport, you know, just to get this stuff done, but just make it sweet and simple for you and equally simple for them.
Last question on social media. Let's say I'm on all 3 and I'm pretty consistent with them. Is it a necessity to have people, and I see some people like to cross-pollinate, but is it like if you're following me on Facebook, try to subscribe you to say to my Twitter as well as Instagram, or is it okay to have different audiences? I see people, some people have totally different, and then some people want to connect all three.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to take off this light and I'm going to come back.
Okay.
That's a great
Okay.
question. Okay. So the short answer to your question from me is a resounding no. And the reason why I say that is because at any given time, for any given reason, the owners, proprietors, and investees in Facebook, in Instagram, in Pinterest, in Twitter, in LinkedIn can shut down your account at any time. And I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with the Shade Room or their case, but the Shade Room had hundreds of thousands of followers. And they were a group on Facebook that had been given warnings by the powers that be over Facebook. And after refusing to adhere to those warnings, their 100,000 of followers woke up the next day and there was no Shade Room. Okay. So I believe that the only thing that you should be driving your audience to on a regular basis is your email list, because it is yours. You can take that with you, whether you're on a particular platform, if you never decide to post again, if you never decide to use social media again, you will always have contact with the people that you've invested in marketing to if you direct them to your email list. I believe that the email list is as classic, but as effective as AOL and our dial-up stream.
Oh, wow.
It worked. We got what we needed. And as prehistoric as it was, the email address is the most powerful thing that you have as an entrepreneur. It is what directly connects you with your market every single time.
Well, I love the point you made, that that list is yours. It's no one can take it away. People can unsubscribe, but the list as a totality, no one can take that away from you. So that's a great point.
Absolutely.
So I want to delve into, because I know you speak to, and you just talked about it, women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
This question specifically is for single mom women entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs. How would you advise a single mom who is limited in time and resources, but realizes that she's stuck in a cycle of a job and wants to get out of that by creating a product or service or an event that will put her in the entrepreneur category? How would you advise her to get started with limited time, limited money, limited resources?
Well, and that's a really good question. Shout out to all the single mamas out there who may be listening, because I know the struggle firsthand. So the thing with single mothers is that it's so amazing. Women are just so amazing. As much as we do on a regular basis, we are always in a position to want to do more. We take care of our husbands, we take care of our children. Some of us take care of our wives. Some of us take care of our mothers, our fathers, our siblings. Yet there's still so much more that we want to do, so much more that we're willing to do to help for the greater good. And over the past maybe about 5 years, I feel as though the single mothers that I've been meeting have been phenomenal women. And some of their causes have been more amazing than anything that I can fathom doing in a real work day. So I just want to start there with saying that. Having said that, when I started my business in 2011, I started, remember I said I was making about 11 or maybe about $10 an hour. I think I had just recently gotten a pay raise, right? Right? Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Right. So when I started the business, I actually started, and I've told this story before, after having gotten laid off, but not laid off. So I was told not to come back to the job. And, recognizing that, okay, this is probably, the cut time. You could just, keep it 100 and let me know. But I didn't get that notice. But my spidey senses kicked in. And I had wanted to start a business for a really long time. I had a vision, I had a mission, I had everything that I needed on the inside to know the direction that I wanted to go in. But sometimes it takes being pushed out for you to start doing what you have to do, right? Sometimes
Absolutely.
we drag a situation on and on and on, unnecessarily causing pain to both ourselves and the other party in the process, just because, right? And we as humans, especially in this country, we're almost kind of conditioned to suffer. We think that, not eating our food or telling our kids, finish your food because there's someone starving. Well, that does not help the starving child in Cambodia. Me suffering and filling myself with more food does not help them. Why
Right.
suffer? So, in realizing that we drag things on, I knew that it would take something really big to shake up the cycle that I was in. But what I decided to do was I got laid off in February. This month, actually. Wow, it's my laid off anniversary. Okay. And when that happened, I decided to take the money that I received from my tax return and invest all of it into my business.
Wow.
Um, yeah, that's how I started my business. I said that I know I have a few $1,000s coming in, and what better way for me to spend it versus asking for a handout or searching for some type of grant program or looking for someone to sponsor my dream and my vision. I decided that I would sponsor my dream and my vision with the money that I got back from the federal government. So I used that money, and I also used the money that I had received from unemployment. I got an unemployment check and it came all at one time. And when I received that money, I also invested that in my business. So that was how I got started as a single mother. I know not everyone is able to do those things, but what I will tell any single mother who is interested in starting a business to do is to really, number one, make sure that the business that you're looking to start is one that you can see yourself working for a really long time without getting paid, right? So many times, new business owners have this entrepreneurial myth of instant success, of overnight success. And,
Right.
if I start it today, then I'll be a millionaire by next week. I'll be the next, Forbes award recipient. And in reality, it takes a really, really long time to get to where you want to be in business. I worked for the first 3 years of business without getting any payment. I didn't get any payment. Everything that I made went right back into business. And so I was able to just stay, to just keep myself afloat. And true, I was missing a lot of knowledge and resources at that time that I have now. I didn't know how to balance a budget. I didn't know how to hire a proper staff. I didn't know how to go about organizing and planning things like content or getting my branding together. So there were so many other pieces moving. I just had the passion and I just had the vision. And if you have the passion and the vision, you can absolutely do it. But recognize that it's a long haul, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon. So I would say to any single mom, take it slow. You're already taking care of the babies. You're already doing your best to take care of you. You're already holding it down and handling those bills. Take it slow. When you lose weight quickly, anybody who knows my story knows that I used to be 225 pounds. And I didn't go from 225 to 140. in a few months. It took a long time.
You didn't wake up like that.
I didn't wake up like this. Okay. So the thing about it is that what I learned, and this is something that my godmother taught me, she said, when you lose the weight quickly, you tend to gain it back quickly as well.
Yeah.
And it's so true. When we get money quick,
Oop.
we spend it quick. They said there's a song, a rap song that says, spend that check and get it right back. Sometimes you spend and you don't get it right back. Sometimes you spend and you still looking for the money to come back.
Yeah.
And you, what happened to it? Like, I know I just had at least $100 and now it disappeared.
Right.
It's really easy to sometimes overwhelm ourselves with too much. If you are a single mom and you're interested in starting a business, I applaud you, number one, for making that move or even thinking those thoughts. The key is to take it slow and go at your own pace. Do not put pressure on yourself. Do not overwhelm yourself, because if you crash, you're at least taking the kids down with you, and we can't have that.
Ouch.
So slow. That would be my advice.
So real quick, I want to get this in 2 minutes. Are there any resources that you can think of to offer or suggest or recommend to women in particular who are looking to become entrepreneurs that perhaps you didn't know existed when you started, or even some that might have helped you on your journey?
Well, okay, in 2 minutes. So the short answer is the resources that are available are things like the SBA and getting a SCORE mentor, making sure that you look in your area, in your region, for programs that support women in business. But the real answer, so the real nitty gritty, is that the biggest resource that honestly helped me was having a business coach. And I was so mad when I found out business coaching existed. At the time that I found it out. I found it out after I had to struggle for the first 3 years. Like I said, I was struggling for 3 years. And no one ever said, hey, there's this thing, they call them business coaches, you should totally get one. But that was the biggest resource for me. I think that sometimes people overlook how important it is to collaborate with someone who has been there, done that. If they have been there, done that, and taken the picture, then they can help you get there a lot quicker. You don't have to struggle the way that you choose to struggle if you align yourself with someone who has more wisdom and knowledge than you on that particular area. So those would be the resources that I would say.
Excellent advice. Any upcoming events you got?
Yeah, so I have an annual Mother's Day event. It's in May of every year. The theme is She Is Me. It's really an amazing event. There are videos on my Facebook page that talk about, the experiences from the event from last year. But this is our second year. I'm really excited. I am, of course, one of the speakers, and I have a few other guests coming to speak that I know the ladies will love. And also for those interested in business coaching services, they can find more information about me on my Jamelah Anderson page. And last but not least, if there's any entrepreneurs who are looking to get more information about branding, I have a whole branding course. So my course launches in May, and the name of the course is Brand New Queen You, BNQU, because I'm all about serving queens. And I feel as though if you are more into a self-paced flow and you like going online and getting the information directly, I've created a package online. You can log in, you can see videos, you can download a playbook, you can do activities, you can do worksheets that will really help you and position you in your business if you're looking to build your brand.
Love it. Jamelah Anderson, thank you so very much for lending nuggets and information, ideologies, your concepts to Taking Back Your Life Business Takeover. We really appreciate you dropping by.
You, Clark, not Clark K.
No, not Clark K, but I will answer to that though. That's the crazy part.
Now you know I you like that. Thank you, Clark. Thanks for having me.
Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us. This has been hopefully informative for you and hopefully will help. And by all means, if you are an entrepreneur budding, reach out to Miss Anderson because she has a bevy of information. And as you see, she's got a lot of energy to feed into you. Be sure to check us out on my website, clarkgarrison.com, spelled a little odd for you. KLARQUE garrison.com for future speakers. I've got a list of all of them that we will be interviewing. And for playbacks, go to KG.US. Thank you so very much. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.